This is the Foggatti, Foggatti, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure which is correct. But all of the British folks that I know call it the Foggatti, and it is made by someone in the UK, so it's probably the Foggatti. This is... That's the... yeah, Jedi just posted the link there, Norway, Super T Manufacturing. That's the 14500 mod. So, this is the Foggatti Hybrid Limited Edition. These are also going to be available in a production version. The nice thing about the limited edition one is that you have the ability to customize this. I talked about this a little bit last week. So I actually had this mod tailored a little bit to my my specifications. In fact, there's somebody in the room here, Kel, who has one that's set up almost exactly the same as mine. So I got this in 18500 size, and unlike the standard Foggatti, this one has dual air holes, as you can see. So this is designed to be set up with a dual coil with airflow over both coils, and I also asked that the wick holes be enlarged as well to accommodate for the dual coil and improve the wicking a little bit for a dual coil setup. So they're actually 2.5 millimeter, either 2.4 or 2.5 millimeter wick holes rather than the 2.0 millimeter wick holes. So so yeah, this is it's a little bit tweaked. So the review of the Foggatti Hybrid non-limited edition version would be a little bit different than that, and I want to let you guys know that before we get started. Before I start talking about this, I am going to take a vape though, because this thing is fantastic. Whew. Man. So the website for this one is, if you're interested in checking out the website for FoGGy and all the stuff that he makes, here I'm going to post this in chat. It's foggatti.com. This device, the limited edition one, this is not cheap. This is 240 British pounds, okay? So we're talking close to 400 bucks with shipping. The standard version is not going to be as pricey. The reason why these were so expensive is because the limited edition ones are not made on a CNC, they're actually hand turned on a lathe. So a lot more work went into these, which is why the higher price tag, and obviously because they could be customized as well. So not cheap. However, really nice. It's made of 304L brushed stainless steel. It's 22 millimeter diameter, just like the atomizer. The height varies from 97 millimeters to 135 millimeters, depending on the battery size that you got. The juice capacity also varies as well, depending on whether you got the mini Foggatti atomizer or you got the standard version. This is the mini version, which is the 2.5 milliliter capacity rather than the 4.1. And then the weight varies from 125 to 155 grams, depending on, again, the battery size and the height of the atomizer. So it has Pyrex glass tank. It is dual coil ready, even without the second air hole. So if you want to get some extra flavor and throat hit, you can set it up with a dual coil. It's U-wick ready. It has an adjustable draw. It actually has an adjustable center pin and positive post as well. And then it has a specially designed reduced atomizer chamber that has become pretty well known, was very innovative when the atomizer was first released, and we'll show you that under the cap here in just a little bit. It also has a really cool multi-purpose lock ring, so we'll talk about that here just a sec too. So price and availability, I gave you the price already. I'm not sure what the retail price is going to be on the standard, but they're going to be available from Vapus Vaporizers over in the UK. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think they're going to be available at Vape Rev over in Southern California as well, and also on their website. So what comes with this guy, you get the mod. You also get a whole bunch of extra stuff. So you get a bunch of extra O-rings and screws in a little baggie there. You also get some extra parts for the switch in another little baggie. You get this little guy, which is your Allen key. And then you also get this. What this is this is the Foggatti base. So, if you wanted to, you can actually disconnect this top atomizer portion from the battery tube. You'd obviously need to drain the juice out and everything first, but you could disconnect that, pop this onto the bottom, and you can set it up with a 510 connection as well. So it doesn't necessarily need to be used as a hybrid. You actually get, the hybrid base and a Foggatti atomizer as part of the package. So if you want to put that atomizer on another mod, I don't know why you would, but you can. You have the ability to do that. So I already gave you the dimensions and materials. The look of this device, it's got a very, very nice light brushed finish on it, as you can see. So it's very lightly brushed. It's not a heavy brush, but it's not a mirror polish either, and it's not that machined look. It's definitely got a nice, classy brushed finish to it, but it's very, very lightly brushed. It also has a little engraving on here. As you can see, it says Foggatti or Foggatti, and it's also got the number. The limited edition ones are numbered. The atomizer also has Foggatti engraved on the atomizer. I don't know if you can see it right there on the atomizer portion. So, no, it is not set up to be used as a 510 mod. You can use the atomizer as an addy, but the mod doesn't have a 510 top cap for it, so you can't use it as a mod. So, and no, I don't read the chat. Sorry, I've actually got a whole Google spreadsheet full of notes for the show that I'm reading during the show. That's actually why at the end of the show I usually do a question and answer period. So if you have questions for me, if you could save them for the end of the show, that would be best. I apologize, it's just impossible. I have too much stuff going on my screen. So, I'll send you my spreadsheet just so you know what I'm talking about at some point. So, anyway, back to the device. The firing button on this, very, very smooth, very, very short draw, or very, very short throw, as you can see. The lock switch on this is very, very innovative too. So the way that this works, it's not one of these twist lock switches. The way this works is you actually pull it down and turn it. And there you go. Now it's locked. And then if you want to pop it back off, just turn it around until it pops back. So it's got a, so when you turn it, it's got like a lock on it's got grooves on the inside that allow it to lock in place. And then you turn it again and it pops back. So pretty cool. I have a tiny, tiny complaint about that lock mechanism. We'll talk about that at the end when I go over the positives and negatives. But it's still very, very nice and very, very innovative, and I like the way that it feels. Underneath the hood, you've got your battery vents. You can see the 3 little holes there, and then you've got that little C-ring that keeps the button from popping out under the pressure from the spring. So, and there's a little spring in there, and you can see it fire like that. And similar to like the Caravella, it doesn't have any kind of spacer in there. Basically, the outside, the plastic of the battery is sitting on that outside metal ring there. That's not making contact with the battery. The metal's not making contact with the metal portion of the battery, so it's not going to hard short or fire on its own. Now, this is a little tough to see, but deep inside there, actually it's not that bad to see, you can see it, from the glow of my monitor, shining bright inside there. You can see there's an adjustable screw in there. That's also how you're going to remove the positive posts and remove the atomizer from the hybrid base if you want to use the atomizer on a different mod. One moment. And that, like I said, is adjustable as well so that you can accommodate for multiple different size batteries. The threadings on it are super, super smooth. I mean, I don't know if you can see that or hear that, but the threads are just really, really smooth. You can, no grinding or anything. I'll hold it up right next to my microphone for you. Now, under the top cap, this is really where the Foggatti shines. So, underneath the hood here, you've got this recessed portion of the atomizer, okay? We're going to take autofocus off for this. Hold on a moment. Alright, so you have this recessed portion of the atomizer, okay? It serves a couple purposes. It's a little bit of a juice well. You can see you've got dual wick holes there. As you can see, I've got it set up with a dual coil. You've got both your negative posts there. And the real main reason for that recession there is so that you have adjustable airflow, because the air actually comes in through that lip around the outside. And what that allows you to do is the holes in the top cap line up with those, and you can adjust by turning the top cap and adjust the amount of airflow that you're getting to those coils. You've also got your little fill hole there, and as you can see, it's Allen keys for the positive and for the ground screws in there. Okay. Now the inside of the top cap, now as you can see, like I mentioned, you've got dual air holes on this as well, and those line up directly with the air holes on that lip on the atomizer deck. Inside, this is where it gets really interesting. So that chamber right there, that little reduced size chamber right there, that's where your wick, or both your wicks and your positive post sit. Okay, so it's a very, very tight chamber that drastically increases the flavor that you get from the vape from this device. It's a very, very small chamber. Basically, I mean, if you look, I don't know exactly what the dimensions are on the inside there, but you're looking at, you know, it's probably got about as much space in there as like an 18 millimeter atomizer, and it's a 22 millimeter atomizer. So we're talking about a drastic increase, maybe even smaller than that, a drastic increase in the flavor because of that reduced top cap there. So let me take autofocus off for a sec. So now we pop the cap back on, and just like on the Foggatti, you have the ability to adjust the airflow. Hopefully this will autofocus for me. Come on, baby. Come on, work with me. You son of a bitch. Alright. Autofocus off again. So, as you can see, you can adjust the airflow. So I've got the air hole open up all the way, and then we just turn this, and you can see it close off there, okay? And open it back up, and there you have it. Now, one negative, and Dave, FoGGy, his real name's Dave, nice guy, he did warn me of this, and obviously this makes sense. If you're going to set it, if you're going to get it, you know, customized with dual air holes like this, you have to really set it up with a dual coil, because if you don't, both air holes have to be open for one of them to be open. They're not adjustable independent of one another. So if you only set it up with a single coil, you're going to have airflow entering the chamber and cooling off the coil from the opposite side, and it's really going to decrease the flavor of the atomizer. So, you know, it's kind of at your own risk if you wanted to order an LE and you got it with the dual air holes, but I personally prefer to vape with dual coil, so that's, you know, it's my preferred setup. I would never use this with a single coil. So let's talk about how it vapes. Holy crap. This thing is incredible. This is... I mean, obviously this is going to perform a little bit different than the stock version when that comes out, because I do have the dual air hole and the dual coil. I do know, however, that I loved the Foggatti, or the Foggatti atomizer when I reviewed that way back in the day. In fact, I think I might have reviewed that on my second show or first show. I don't even know if I did a real review. I don't remember. But I love that atomizer. It's even better with a dual coil setup like this. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the flavor and vapor production and just the moistness of the vapor, and it's just like this bold, thick flavor and warmth, and just fantastic. Even with the air holes opened, way open, you know, for like max vapor production, if you're into that, you still get a lot of flavor. I like closing them up some to get a tighter draw. And the flavor increases even more, which is, you know, which is what I like. I prefer flavor over vapor production personally. But let's take a vape off of this. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit and take a vape so that you can see with the tighter draw here. So still very good vapor production, as you can see. Just ridiculous amounts of vapor, superb flavor, and this is with, you know, and you can see the wick hole there. I've got it actually closed most of the way, so that's a pretty, you know, now there's two of them, so imagine there's, you know, two air holes about that size, one on either side, but, you know, with that tighter draw, tight for a dual air hole, the flavor is just absolutely ridiculous. As I drop this thing, I'm glad I caught it. Woo. Now with them open all the way, the vapor production is ridiculous, and the flavor is still very good. Not my preferred vape style, but it's still really good flavor. You know, if you want to perform parlor tricks and record videos of yourself without a shirt on, you know, blowing plumes of vapor with fluorescent lights in the background to make it look thicker than it is, then this is how you'll want to vape it, with the air holes open all the way. Let me show you. Woo! My God. One more pull. So, that's a lot of vapor. But, it's incredible. It's an amazing vape. So, let's talk about the positives and negatives. The vape, the quality of the vape from this thing is just ridiculous. I mean, it's incredible. This is definitely a keeper. I mean, astounding. I'm absolutely blown away by the quality of the product, the way it's made, the way it feels, just everything about it. Super classy, super great. I mean, I think it looks awesome, and it vapes just incredible. It vapes fantastic. The only thing negative that I have to say about it is that I noticed from using it over the course of the week, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, I don't like to do a review until I use something for at least a week. I noticed that with the lock ring, because of the way that it unlocks, where you just kind of, you know, you just apply a little bit of pressure and slide it across, and then it pops back up. Because of that, I noticed that when I put it in my shirt pocket, there were a couple of times when it came unlocked on its own, just from kind of shifting around in my pocket. I never had it fire on me. One of the things that I do like about it is, even though it has a soft switch, it doesn't fire under its own weight, which is good. So I didn't have it fire on its own, but the lock on it, I do wish that it had maybe like a, you know, you pull it down and turn it and it kind of snapped in a little bit, so you had to pull it back out and twist it to unlock it. But again, that's really the only thing. Other than that, it's just an absolutely fantastic vape, and it's an absolutely fantastic product. And you know, if you can afford it, and I know it will be less expensive than the limited edition, but when the production model comes out, if you can swing it, it's definitely worth the money. It's an amazing product. So I'm gonna take another vape and then we'll move on. Whew. Yeah, that thing is rocking my world.